How to prepare your cat for mating. Food, behavior, heat, and breeding secrets. Welcome back. If you are a cat owner thinking about breeding your cat for the very first time, or if you've been trying to get your cats to mate and nothing seems to be working, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we are going to go deep, and I mean really deep, into everything that has to do with cat mating. We are talking about nutrition, physical readiness, heat cycles, behavioral signs, what happens when cats refuse to mate, what happens when they don't even know how to mate, whether neutered cats can still show mating behavior, and so much more. By the end of this, you will have a complete picture of cat reproduction that most casual cat owners never get to understand. So let us get into it. Part 1. Understanding cat reproduction, the basics first. Before we talk about preparation, you need to understand what you are preparing for. Cat mating is not as simple as putting a male and female cat in a room together and waiting. There is biology, timing, behavior, health, and environment all working together, and if any one of those pieces is off, the mating simply won't happen. Cats are what scientists call induced ovulators. This is a crucial piece of information that changes everything. Unlike humans or dogs, female cats, called queens, do not release eggs on a fixed monthly schedule. Instead, they only release eggs in response to the physical act of mating. The stimulation from the male cat's reproductive organ, which has small, backward-pointing spines, triggers a hormonal surge that causes ovulation. This means that if a female cat mates successfully, she is almost guaranteed to ovulate. But it also means that if the mating does not go well, if it's brief, interrupted, or incomplete, ovulation may not happen at all. This design of nature is efficient but unforgiving. It means timing, health, and a proper mating act all matter enormously. Cats typically reach sexual maturity between 5 and 9 months of age, though this varies by breed. Smaller, lighter breeds like Siamese or Orientals often mature earlier, sometimes as young as 4 months. Larger, heavier breeds like Maine Coons or Ragdolls may not reach sexual maturity until they are 12 to 18 months old. Just because a cat is sexually mature does not mean she should be bred immediately. Vets and responsible breeders widely agree that cats should not be bred until their second or third heat cycle at the earliest, and should be at least 1 year old, ideally 12 to 18 months. Breeding too young puts enormous stress on a cat's still developing body. Part 2. How to prepare your cat for mating, before anything else. Preparation is everything. A cat that is not physically, nutritionally, and emotionally ready will either refuse to mate, fail to conceive, or face complications during pregnancy. Here's what responsible preparation looks like. Health check first, non-negotiable. Before you even think about introducing your cat to a mate, she needs a full veterinary health check. This is not optional. A vet visit before mating should cover a complete physical examination, blood work to check for infections or underlying conditions, testing for feline leukemia virus and feline immunodeficiency virus, commonly known as FELV and FIV, because these are both transmissible between cats and can be passed from a mother to her kittens. A check for parasites, including internal worms and external pests like fleas or mites. A dental check, because dental disease is surprisingly common and can affect overall health. And confirmation that all core vaccinations are fully up to date. Why does this matter so much? Because pregnancy is a physical marathon for a cat. Her body will demand enormous resources over the 9 weeks of gestation and then again during nursing. A cat with a hidden infection, a nutritional deficiency, or a parasite load she has been managing will struggle. The kittens may be underweight, sickly, or stillborn. The mother may face life-threatening complications. A vet check before mating is cheap compared to an emergency during pregnancy. Deworming before mating. Many vets recommend deworming a breeding queen before she conceives because some internal parasites can be transmitted through the mother's milk to kittens. Doing it before matings gives the medication time to clear the system before pregnancy begins. Weight and body condition. Your cat needs to be at a healthy weight before mating, not underweight and not overweight. An underweight cat does not have the physical reserves to support a pregnancy. Her body may prioritize her own survival over the kitten's, leading to smaller litters, weak kittens, or early delivery. An overweight cat, on the other hand, may have hormonal disruptions that make cycling irregular, difficulty with the physical process of mating, and higher risks during labor and delivery. Ask your vet to assess your cat's body condition score. On the standard 9-point scale used by vets, a breeding cat should ideally be between 4 and 5, lean muscle with ribs easily felt but not visibly prominent. Part 3. Food and nutrition for mating readiness. This section is one that many cat owners skip, and it's a serious mistake. What you feed your cat in the weeks leading up to mating, during pregnancy, and during nursing will directly affect conception success, litter size, kitten health, and the mother's recovery. Switch to high-quality protein. Cats are obligate carnivores. Their bodies are designed to run on animal protein. Before mating, your cat's diet should be rich in high-quality animal protein, chicken, turkey, salmon, beef, either through premium commercial cat food or a vet-approved raw diet. Look for cat foods where the first ingredient is a named animal protein, not a byproduct or a grain. Protein is the building block of everything. Hormones, eggs, placenta tissue, milk. A protein-deficient cat will struggle to conceive and will struggle even more to nurse a litter. Transition to kitten food or breeding formula. Here's a professional tip that many casual breeders don't know. Switch your queen to high-quality kitten food or a specially formulated breeding diet a few weeks before mating. Kitten food is calorie-dense, higher in fat, higher in calcium, and richer in the nutrients needed for growth and reproduction. The demands of pregnancy and nursing are so high that your cat will essentially be eating for her own body plus the bodies of 4 to 6 growing kittens. Starting that nutritional boost before conception gives her a head start. Essential nutrients to focus on. Taurine is one of the most critical nutrients for cat reproduction. It's an amino acid found naturally in animal tissue, and cats can't manufacture enough of it on their own. A taurine deficiency can cause reproductive failure, stillbirths, and heart problems. Most commercial cat foods are supplemented with taurine, but it's worth checking the label. Omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA, support fetal brain development and kitten eye health. Look for foods with fish oil or supplement with a small amount of salmon oil under your vet's guidance. Folic acid, also known as vitamin B9, plays a role in cell division and fetal development. Many breeding diets already include it, but it's worth confirming. Calcium and phosphorus in the right ratio support bone health in the mother and the developing kittens. Kitten foods typically have this balance correct. What to avoid? Do not give your cat raw eggs, as they contain a compound that blocks biotin absorption. Avoid raw fish in large quantities because it can destroy thiamine, a vital B vitamin. Do not supplement with additional calcium during pregnancy unless specifically directed by your vet, because too much calcium can actually cause complications during labor. Avoid processed human foods, artificial preservatives, and high-sodium snacks, and never feed a cat dog food. It's nutritionally incomplete for feline needs and lacks taurine. Hydration. Cats are notorious for not drinking enough water, especially if they eat dry kibble. Before mating and during pregnancy, hydration becomes even more important. Wet food significantly increases water intake. A cat drinking fountain can also encourage more drinking. If your cat is eating primarily dry food, seriously consider adding wet food as a supplement during the breeding and pregnancy period. Part 4. Female Cat Heat, the Complete Guide. If you have a female cat who has not been spayed, you need to understand the heat cycle thoroughly. Everything about the timing of mating depends on it. What is the heat cycle? The technical term for a cat's heat cycle is estrus. During estrus, the female is fertile and receptive to mating. Cats are seasonally polyestrous, meaning they go through multiple heat cycles per year, primarily driven by daylight. In regions with distinct seasons, cats typically cycle from late winter or early spring through late fall, when daylight hours are long. Indoor cats exposed to artificial light may cycle year-round. How often does a cat come into heat?
If a cat does not mate during her heat cycle, she will typically cycle again every 2 to 3 weeks throughout the breeding season. This is her body's way of maximizing the chances of reproduction. It also means that an unspayed, unmated cat can be in heat almost constantly from spring through fall, which is physically and emotionally exhausting for her. How long does heat last? Each individual heat cycle lasts between 5 and 10 days if the cat does not mate. If she mates but does not ovulate, which can happen if the mating was very brief, she may enter a state called pseudo-pregnancy or false pregnancy, which we will discuss later. Signs your cat is in heat. This is where many first-time cat owners feel alarmed because a cat in heat behaves in ways that can seem distressing or strange if you don't know what you're looking at. Vocalization is the most obvious sign. A cat in heat will often yowl, howl, and cry in a loud, persistent, almost mournful-sounding way, especially at night.